Hello, hello, welcome everyone. We have some wonderful Keyforge here today. We've got Karen joining me on this cast. She'll be playing. Um, let's see what deck she brought. She brought Laszlo of
Yep.
Spike Quarter, which
Woo!
is a Coda, and Quickdraw has brought Abelson of Caring View, which is a deck I am personally unfamiliar with. It is not the traditional one that I am, which is Guadalupe. But looks fairly interesting here. I'll make sure to get that up on screen. There we go. So that's up on stream. And we've got Abelson of Caring View, which is right there. And we have Laszlo of Spike Quarter. Should be a pretty interesting game. Good luck to you, Karen, and we'll get
Thank
into
you.
it.
Alright, just doing some deck list reading right now. Looking at an auto encoder library card. Tachyon Pulse is an issue because my R is Gorm. Gotta be careful with Gorm placement. Obviously, we're looking at double platform, Nell, double access to 9. We're gonna draw a bunch. The deck doesn't like. I mean, it does stuff, but it doesn't. Yeah, I can see like why this is an adaptive deck and not an Archon deck, if that makes sense. Also, high recursion tends to be very good. You got to make a good choice on Lost in the Woods with a shuffle back. Double Savage Clash is also a thing, because basically this deck goes fast and pumps out 17 creatures. Probably not going to be wanting to use those clashes very much. Probably use board tempo and fighting. Card and then you got to talk about whether to get rid of card or encoder, and yeah, there's some decisions to be made here.
Hey, Ketzer, welcome in. Have some good. Oh, they are readying up. We're playing with no open hands here as well. So no open hands from either player, just to ensure that we have as much competitive integrity as we possibly can. This music seems way too loud.
One card start. I'm gonna open a Zorg.
Okay, big Zord opener. Ooh, and opening with the auto encoder there is
Double discard. Sloppy Labwork in general as a team has a very like heavy encoder. Like they have very specific ideas about encoder specifically, which is interesting. I mean, I agree in early game, but they'll discard basically everything like as a team. That is their philosophy as a team. That it is almost always worth doing. I'm gonna unstun that.
very interesting. Well, hopefully Sloppy Labwork, who's in the chat with us now, the official Twitch channel. If you haven't followed them already, do follow them now. Hopefully they can agree with or disagree with that.
Yep.
They say always be card discarding.
Yep.
Yep.
No, it's just what they do it as a team, and the math is probably right. It depends on the deck with me, but they're even more in favor of it than I am. I've listened to them quite a lot about it. So.
Yeah, and here it looks like they are sticking to that plan of discarding everything, and these with the Savage Clash to get rid of the everything but the Dominator there.
And discards here, 2 lows.
Although Karen does have 1 Amber, so she is winning.
Yep. Everybody knows lead on Amber early, you automatically win. Okay. I'm gonna try this. Ban Untamed.
Ooh, Restringuntus. Very good.
gonna pop out Savage Clash and the Lost in the Woods. Whereas they're most likely to have Star Alliance cards, but none of them actually are C.
Right.
Unfortunately, they can just discard 2 Encoder, which is frustrating. But they're going to go Star Alliance, which is basically the only choice. If I'm lucky, they don't actually have that much.
Early double TPs has gotta be rough.
Nah, it's fine. Come on.
Oh, they're
We're all
discarding.
friends here.
They're discarding. Oh, you have a Tentacus though, so unless they can deal with that, that should be
Yeah, it's not a bad card to have around right now. Like I said, unfortunately, they can just keep discarding until they like get the diametric charge or whatever, which is incredibly irritating. And one of the reasons that I hate auto encoder is a design concept, but it's the right play. Like,
Yeah, I mean it really helps dig deep.
yeah, I just think it's like bad card design, basically.
Yeah.
Like apart from this moment, it's just like it's just too generic of an effect in a set that already is too good.
Well, the problem is that it's an MM.
Right, yeah. Well, I mean, I just think it's an issue kind of in general because it's such a generic effect. Like, it's a common.
Hey, Doc. Welcome in,
Yeah,
Data
there's the
Forge.
diametric.
Yeah, we
Yeah, he
got it.
basically just had to dig for diametric, and I had to hope it was at the bottom of the deck. It's incredibly just frustrating, honestly.
7 archives. Jeez.
Yeah, it's just like, what are you even gonna do about it when they open encoder? And this is what I was talking about, like, prior to the game. There's nothing you can do to limit your opponent's high variance effects. Like, there's nothing to do, right? Like, it's just like, if you bring a deck where if you open encoder, it's a totally different deck. I can't change that, right? Like,
No.
but I also, I don't know. Maybe I get 2-0'd here and kind of like eat my own words, right? But it just seems like you're just as likely to get 0-2'd as 2-0'd with that kind of approach, which I guess is its own risk.
Yeah.
Luckily, I do have Tentacus under taunt here. I kind of made it so that if Restringuntus died, it would get under taunt. Still leaving that other taunt slot open for other stuff, potentially.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna ask if it would have been better to have Tentacus on the left side, but
Nah, it's like important to have that. Like, the Dominators are quite important in this deck. For like a bunch of reasons. Like, I'm not trying to be vague. It's like actually like there's a lot of things that you might want under taunt.
too many to list.
Too many to list, and also like he definitely has outs to Tentacus now. Like, if you look at his removal, he has Savage Clash, he has Lost in the Woods, right? So like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, there's a Savage Clash.
Whereas like he's not gonna be fighting into it, so the taunt barely matters. Whereas it could matter later, now that both Savage Clashes have been used.
Yep. Yeah, there's a Resurgence too.
Yeah.
They're just gonna discard it all.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, that's totally par for the course for these guys. Like,
Yeah.
literally discard.
Hello, Astron. Welcome in.
And then what sucks about it is he's sitting there with double EP. Can eventually set up a big library card.
Ah, and there's Lodon.
Yeah, and you do get some advantage off of that.
There is some nice synergies in that deck.
Oh yeah, no, I mean it seems really nice.
I will say though, Sloppy Labwork had a podcast at the bottom of the Beaker episode yesterday about adaptive.
Yeah.
You know, in the spirit of the KAGI playoffs happening, and
Right.
I was, I know we've had many conversations about this. I was amazed by how high SAS they lent in their deck choices.
Oh yeah, no, I mean I think you play the stuff that you know the deepest. Yeah, you just play the decks that you know the deepest, and that's definitely one approach to adaptive.
Yeah. Yeah, because I know I always not to distract your gameplay too much, but I always like the low 70 SAS range, like high 60s, low 70s SAS range. Because I think personally, I like decks that have good, like, have clear, not clear, but have interesting strengths and weaknesses and are nuanced in their flavors.
Yeah. You like actually playing like Newton, basically. Like you
Yeah.
you want to, yeah.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
want like those two games, but if you have a deck like Abelson, they probably know, like Quickdraw probably knows an exact chain limit on it at which it starts to suck. Because you have to
24.
draw some of those artifacts and you have to set them up, and it has to do the thing, which makes the chains hurt it really badly,
Yeah.
versus a normal one.
So here's a question for you.
Yeah.
When, because of the autoencoder interaction and them just discarding everything, when are
Yeah.
you looking to pop Life Ward
Um,
and actually get value out of it?
I think about it every single turn.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean? It's always just a cost benefit on every single turn.
Right. So I just wasn't sure if there was like a specific thing you're looking for. Discard library card.
Yeah, they're like I'm not being hyperbolic. They really like the philosophy is to fucking discard everything. Like that is just what they do. And with this deck, it kind of makes sense because you have like a never-ending Amber control machine. But we'll see. They also want a cycle deck to get back into the clashes and stuff, which is pretty important.
Right. So I guess like one thing you might be looking for is like on a turn where they need to use their transport platforms to answer you with Garcias or something. Popping Life Ward on something like that would be
Yeah, I mean it's the Garcia's already gone. For the moment. I mean, they're gonna cycle deck.
yeah.
We're looking at 3 cards in archive, 9. Nell is an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, like, it might be worth thinking about it, for this turn. Like I said, I think it's pretty wise to just think about it in general. It's always high value to limit your opponent's turn. Regardless. The reason that they might toss LC as well, that might be a tell that they have the upgrades in archive in addition to the Nell. So I'm actually going to crack it because that's why you would discard LC. You go, oh, I'm already going to draw my deck. So that might be their philosophy here.
That makes sense. While we're waiting, welcome in everyone. We are in the KAGI playoffs, quarterfinals here between Karen and Quickdraw. This is currently game 1.
Plays Lost in the Woods. Okay, leaves the Zookeeper and the Marauder, which is interesting. If not, a tad unexpected, but... They definitely have both EPs. Burst isn't, like, worth anything right now. Except for the fact that it makes them play Logos, which is actually pretty good.
The burst. I've seen Laszlo played a few times now, and the burst from Laszlo always surprises me.
It's worth a try. I think I'm still kind of fucked because they're gonna draw like a ton of cards in the Star Alliance turn. You could tell that the was not the turn they wanted to take. But now they have to go Logos in order to do. Yeah.
Sorry, Fleximal. I don't know. The Fleximal says, I think what you were trying to say earlier is autoencoder is boring.
No, it's fucking boring. Everybody hate like it's boring to watch. It's boring to play. It's stupid. It's ill-designed. Like for real. Like I hate this card on a very like deep level, and it deserves it like in every possible way. Like it just is bad for the game. Like it is literally just bad for the game. I'm gonna go Mars here.
I can't say I'm that passionate for my dislike of.
Yeah. No, I mean I hear you. Like I'm not.
I also don't have.
blaming-
I don't personally have decks that are like. Like I don't have decks that are abusing it to this extent.
Mm-hmm.
And I think my one autoencoder deck that's good sort of uses it sometimes with like some nice synergies, but I guess maybe one day I will try playing that deck with this strategy from Slappy Labwork and see how it goes.
Yeah, the strategy only works if you draw an encoder this early too, though. Like first turning it, he's just got to be like, "Yep, woohoo!" You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, yippee.
It's just what it is. Interestingly, I could have played Mind Barb there and tried to prevent this from happening, but I imagine it was an archive, honestly. I mean, I guess it's a 50-50, but you could also just as easily be archiving them into it. I like this board.
Lay of the Land. I love Lay of the Land.
Yeah, they're just gonna draw like their whole fucking deck out now, like.
Oh, and there's the Kirby with an Amber enhancement. Oh, that's rough.
It just is what it is, man. It's just like the most boring possible version of like a Genka. Like and like no hate to the player, man. Like the decks exist, like use them, you know. But it's just like it I know what's happening. Like there's no mystery to this shit. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. I don't know about you, but I thought this was pretty much Pelican Brief 2.0.
I don't actually know what you're saying.
Oh, Pelican Brief is a mystery novel by what's their name? I gotta look this up. I gotta look this up. It is like a mystery novel that is like they're like exactly what you see in an airport. John Grisham. Yeah, it's a thriller. It's a legal thriller, which sounds. I've never read it, but it sounds exactly as it sounds. It was exactly as exciting as it sounds, I imagine. Sorry, it's a.
No, I hear you. I'm sorry. I'm just
no, you're good.
trying to pay attention.
Yeah, I'm over here distracting you.
No, they just have half their deck in their hand now, and I'm trying to think about what that means.
That means there's a skill issue here.
Mm-hmm. The access denied is like super annoying. Also, like the deep thought. You play the upgrades and then you will draw cards as a result of playing them. This card's Tachyon Pulse Coward.
Oh man. You gotta have the gotta play it.
Yeah, I mean it's a must play. Just like Gambling Den is a mandatory effect.
It's true.
The access denied on my Zookeeper is brutal.
and as we go through tonight, for all the content creators that come into the channel, I am trying to give you all VIP status in the channel. So you all should have when you chat, you should have a diamond next to your names, because you are all very important people. As the content creators that are doing a ton of really good work, they're all worth following, all worth watching. Can't recommend them all enough. And that way, when everyone else is in chat and they can see who the two of the creators are, and you know, hopefully if I miss anyone, let me know. But try my best.
Discard an EP. That's not horrible. I'm just gonna keep going. Try that. I don't know. There's honestly not a fuck all that I can do here.
Well, at least all their upgrades are spread out now.
Yeah, I wondered about that, but I guess they're assuming that I would have killed it, but honestly, I'm not sure whether it would even be the wisest thing to... I mean, like, I get why I should kill it, but I also... Basically, there's only one way for me to win, and that's just rushing ahead, and getting very lucky, like hitting the EP.
Yes.
But I know there's a second one, but you know what I mean? Like that's the only way to win, is to do that. And like you said, the upgrades are now spread out. I know that he can still draw 4, but he's got to balance like a Trimble instead of, like, he put it on a low value target. Like, it makes sense. That's like the highest probability of leaving them on the board.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like you probably still don't play Star Alliance.
Well,
like being
I mean,
willing, yeah, maybe you do. I don't know.
If it's any consolation, you do have 2 keys.
It's not.
Okay. That was a hope.
No, it's no consolation at all. Access denied on a Zookeeper is just bumming me out too much.
Fair. I always think this is why one of the reasons why I think adaptive is such an interesting format, because you can have an interaction like this, right? Or like you can have, I mean, it's not the most interesting when you have 2 blowout games.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a third game. Like, even if there is, absurdity like this sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
you do have an option to equalize it, no matter which deck you brought.
I actually think it's quite likely that I lose. If I lose here, I lose the next one, because I'm not as I think Laszlo has certain advantages if the autoencoder doesn't come out. I don't think that it's like I'm actually not tilted, but I'm like a little bit frustrated because I feel that this is a high variance kind of setup.
Right. So I guess you think you got high rolled this. You did get high rolled with the autoencoder earlier.
Yeah, I mean it's beyond debate that I got high rolled. Like, I'm not being mean about it. Like, it's just, you know what I mean. Like, this is a high roll. This is what a high roll looks like.
Yeah,
however, yeah. However, it's more like, what can I actually expect in the next game? I can't expect to be opening autoencoder in both platform within the first 3 turns. And
well, you could.
You could, but I can't expect
that.
Yeah, just gotta get those draws, get good. Okay.
Still 7 archives, damn.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just, you see what I'm saying? Like, there's no difference between bouncing up in the platform and just discarding all that shit to like, they basically have access to their whole deck now. And that's the win condition that deck's trying to get to. Like, it's not, like, I knew it. Like, I mean, everybody knew it from the beginning, but you know what I'm saying, right? Like, it's not this mysterious thing. It's just kind of what the deck does. I don't know, man. It'd be one thing if I could even, like, push Amber, but I basically can't. Also, even I have an odd cloud. It's just gonna be screwing me. Let's try this.
I do appreciate Quickdraw did order them correctly, such that their art did line up. Yeah, it's small details, but very much appreciated.
So I'll kill it, even Ivan, stay at 4. They're gonna forge the key. Basically, I can draw Keyhammer, and then try to cycle into something that isn't gonna do anything, but you know.
And I guess if you had drawn your Gorm much earlier, it would also be a different game.
Yeah, well, the Gorm is relevant, but he has Tachyon, so if I grow... what I was saying at the very beginning is, like, if I put down Gorm, he actually has Tachyon. Right. However, yeah, there's, like... There's not, like, too many answers that I have in the long term, except for the fact that I can rush, and the EPs slow the deck down, and, like, it only has so many answers. This deck does have great answers to the board, which is where, like, Laszlo gets, like, mega dangerous and, like, beats decks it shouldn't beat, you know?
Right, yeah.
However...
Although, I gave Quickdraw points for the Odd Claw and even Ivan placement, but I'm taking points away for Hide and Veil being backwards. It's sloppy.
There was no way to do it.
You know what? There's gotta be better.
So I have, like, a very niche win condition, which would be hilarious. Not gonna happen because he has, like, he must have the other EP, right? But hilariously, I can cycle my deck, so I can, like, Keyhammer, Reap, archive a card, and then redraw Keyhammer, and, like, you know, like, that's, like, my only... it's not happening, but, there is some Amber control in Mars and stuff, so, like, technically, but he's gonna just fight into the... Yeah, all the mutants have skirmish and shit.
Oh, true.
I can see why you would bring this kind of thing to adaptive, though, because, like, knowing what to discard, what not to discard, and, like you watch him play a game like this, and then maybe you assume that you can play the same way, but that's not always true. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's definitely I feel like it does introduce a lot of decision points.
It's a rep heavy deck, and that's like basically the biggest thing. Like, you need rep heavy decks.
Yeah. You need decks that want to be nerfed, or need to be nerfed.
Yeah. Yeah, that need to be in order to understand them. But I imagine that you could also, I don't know, you could imagine a world in which I hit, like, a massive oath of poverty while those were gone.
Is there a reason you chose the blue key over the yellow?
No. Cool. There's game 1. And we'll rematch and swap decks. I did get my 2 keys there, though. It's worth taking note of that. I don't know, he achieved his win condition, but it's not like this is, like, an automatic thing that happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, well, GG.
Yep. We gotta... Who will go first? I know Quickdraw is also a huge believer in always going first, so I will take my first here. We had that discussion in person over a few beers, actually, a couple months ago.
It got violent, I assume.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah. So yeah, no encoder. Like I can't. I guess his first turn encoder when he did it was a little dangerous. If I had, like, first turn to Gorm or something.
Yep.
Let's just put down a platform.
Well, I mean, we all watched Data Forge. the Wizard's Boot, I think the episode is titled.
Mm-hmm.
So mulliganing does give you a better chance to see a certain card sooner rather than later.
Right.
It's not like it equalizes eventually, but like you get, if you're trying to see it as early as possible, mulliganing gives you a better chance of that.
Yeah. This is definitely not a one-card deck, but yeah, this is the kind of thing. Okay, he does play Oath early, which is like actually a mistake, which is good to see. I
Yeah,
know
I
I
agree. Flexible.
used it. What did he say?
Oh, autoencoder makes sense. Or going first makes sense if you're looking for autoencoder turn one.
Yeah.
It also makes sense because if you're looking to mulligan to see it faster, that's a free mulligan as first player instead of being a card down in second.
Okay.
Cracking the library card. Would you say that was a productive library card turn?
Board is good. Basically. Yeah, okay, so draw a card, steal 2. I need to do this.
Okay, there's attack impulse.
Feels pretty good there.
Yeah, that does feel pretty good. Minimal damage to your own deck and pretty big hits on
Yeah.
the Lash and Library.
I see a very likely Restring Guntus with the very minimal Mars play putting out the Taunter, which is a little worrying.
The diameter charge is already gone on your end.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not ideal. Charette fights Hyde, and then they play Restring Guntus, so yeah, that is exactly what we're gonna see here. Stops me from playing a house that I don't want to even call, so that's cool. That does get rid of my removal, though. It's annoying. Like, it is annoying.
Wrestling Gunsis is nothing if not annoying. But also bonus points to you for also putting down even Ivan and Nodclod in their correct order.
Oh, I definitely did it for you.
Thank you, I do appreciate it. I wanted to make sure that is seen. Interesting. So no cards committed from hand on that turn.
Yep.
This is definitely shaping up to be an interesting game, even without the early auto encoder.
Nah, it's really, I don't know.
At least I think so.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe I'm just too involved in it, but I'm mostly just frustrated, to be honest with you. Not even because of game outcome stuff, just because of like, I don't even know how to put it.
General disposition.
No, just like, yeah, I mean, that doesn't help. That doesn't help. It's just, yeah, I hear you.
Interesting turns here from you, Karen.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell if you just have a handful of Untamed or you got something spicy cooking.
I always got something spicy cooking.
Oh, good. Why, oh, you have access denied on
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you know, why don't you do Brilliant? It's because you have access denied on Brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Professional streamers, by the way. That is a double taunter.
Yeah, it tells you I'm very likely to get to
Oh man, that resting Gruntus really needs to die.
He did give me an elusive to fight, though.
Which is pretty pog. When that effect goes off, it's really good.
Yeah, no, it is.
That Trimble is pretty big too. I have a feeling they're gonna kill it though.
Yeah, no, I think I actually just lose now. I think I'm locked. Whatever, man.
How much Untamed do you have in hand?
5.
Oh, Jesus.
I basically only need like, like I know he has it captured, but you know what I mean. I actually only need like 2 more amber too. It's really annoying.
Yeah, you are pretty close.
Like I read the Guntus, but there really wasn't a ton I could do, to be honest.
Yeah, not with the diametric charge coming like turn 2, turn 3 or whatever it was.
Yeah, I thought about holding it. Maybe should have held it.
Maybe.
Probably should have held it. I don't care.
Because it's the only spot removal outside of
Yeah, outside
Untamed,
of
right?
yeah, I just figured I had a board and could fight some stuff, which was true. Then the stun came at the wrong time. Like it's kind of a lot of stuff happened at once. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what are you gonna
That's a
do?
hard decision, right? I mean, it was on a library card turn, super early in the game.
Yeah, but I did read the Guntus, so I should have known, basically.
Fair. Do you think you should have fought the Dominator that turn?
Probably. I don't know, man.
Yeah, hard. It's hard to say.
There's definitely something I could have done. There's almost always something you could have done. So
I mean, Keyforge
there's nothing I.
is just one of those games where you just
Oh.
have there are an incredible amount of decision points and outcomes.
Yeah. No, I mean I just shouldn't have let it happen. Honestly, like I probably had some way out of it, but good game to quick draw. Yeah.
Well, there goes my bracket.
Yep.
My prediction was on you winning it all, Karen.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it. I think I had a pretty good chance to do so. I mean, not trying to say that as humbly as I can, but like I was definitely playing good, adaptive.
Yeah, no, I
yep.
think that was good.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't have a ton to say. I got high ruled in the first game, and then my deck is actually, I don't know. I don't want to say like stronger, but my deck actually has a ton of weapons against theirs when you don't, when it's not rolling.
Yeah, would you?
Yeah, I probably should have fought. The Dominator, but the problem is Dominator has a 1 armor, so I actually would have only killed the Dominator.
You would have been 3-for-1.
Yeah, I needed to
fight everything.
Yeah, it would have been 3-for-1, which is all of my dudes. So I'm still in the same situation actually. So the only way was to hold the Diametric, which I did read the Dominator, like the 2-card Mars turn with the taunt open probably means he has Guntus. I should have held the Diametric and just had a nothing turn. I don't know. I figured I could fight and get to it. I also knew that I had a good Star Alliance turn coming up, and he had to ban Untamed. So I was thinking that I would have, eventually enough support to hit it down, and then I got stunned. So it was like the blinding light that really did it, if that makes sense.
It does make sense.
So that was just kind of murder. What are you gonna do? Anyway, sorry, you had a question?
Yeah. So like we go to game 3. Let's say you win this. And game 3 does happen. What does chain bidding look like for you?
Maximum of 4 chains on their deck.
Maximum of 4 chains on their deck. Okay, interesting. Okay, so are you looking to get their deck, or are you looking to give them their deck?
I don't care.
Okay, so you're saying
Yeah.
So you're basically saying I will bid up to 4 chains on that deck, and after that they can have it.
Yep. I have no preference about which one I play. Their deck has an edge up in the long run, very marginal edge up. It is extremely susceptible to chain bidding because it relies on artifact setup. It also has low E and relatively low A, even though it has the Pismire and double EP, right? But it's just like the EPs also add chains. Laszlo is a really bursty deck. It's a really good boardy deck. Has the Restring Guntus play. Has a bunch of good stuff. So, I think Laszlo has a lot of edges, and if you put 4 chains on that deck, Laszlo starts to look like really, really good against it.
Okay. Yeah, that all makes sense.
And I imagine Quickdraw's number is like something roughly the same. But yeah, I pretty much knew I was gonna. I mean, I said it. I was just like, I'm gonna get 2 out of here, just because that first game.
Yeah, well,
likely should not have happened. Like at least as it happens.
Yeah.
It's really rough.
Well, as it seems to be recently, you do have a bad record when you are on stream for Swindle Dust Chronicles.
I don't know. Am I?
I think you're actually pretty even. I think you're 50-50.
Yeah, I don't know.
Some
games just go against you.
Giving you an out, Karen.
Yeah, it's you. It's the jinx.
Yeah, it's all me.
Yeah,
cursed.
I don't know. I mean, it's bound to happen. But yeah, should have held the Diametric, I guess. Like that's basically it. Like I should have just held the Diametric because the Restring Guntus was the only way that game was, not the only way that game was happening, but you saw the way the Mars board came out. But essentially,
Yeah.
the Western Gunsis hitting is like devastating. So, and he couldn't really block Logos after that play. He has to block Untamed. Probably should have held that diametric charge, and then I win probably. So it's totally on me. It's just bad play.
Yep. Well, I wouldn't say it's all bad play, but
Nah, pretty much.
I don't think it's all bad play. So, interestingly enough, we do have the lower half of the bracket set up, or finalized, with a 0-2 here, and Ashitaka taking it over Not Tonight, and also a 2-0. So 2-2-0s in the bottom half of the bracket. And so next round in the semifinals, we'll have at least Ashitaka and Quickdraw facing off.
That's cool.
And then we'll have to see how the quarterfinals turn out from GT Russell and Algernon, and then also from Fabulosing and Alberto.
I will say it got mentioned in the thing, but I will say, like, playing Quickdraw after playing in the league against each other in the same bracket felt a little weird. Was there was that intentional, or are they randomized?
They're randomized. Wait,
okay.
you were
it was like,
you weren't in the same pod.
We were? Oh, I played against Quickdraw in the Newton, maybe.
Yeah, you're thinking of a different league, because Quickdraw is in Dis and you're in Untamed.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The problem...
Yeah, no, I was thinking of so.
There was a problem of... I originally had when I shuffle all the seeds, because I'm treating everyone as, if the top two finishers are equivalent seeding.
Yeah.
Perhaps I'll change that going into future seasons, but I think it's fair to have the top two still being equivalent seeds.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I had Fabulosing and Alberto in the bottom half of the bracket, so which was not ideal, and so we have every pod represented equitably in each half of the bracket.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, I think it's I thought it was an interesting game.
That's cool. I'd be happy to hear why. I kind of feel a way about it. I feel like game 2 was a mistake on my part.
I thought it was...
Game 1 was like, I just kind of got rolled.
It was nice and interesting seeing two very disparate decks who had very interesting and maybe like not in Quickdraw's case, maybe not like the most unique game plan, but just like decks that had a very clear and semi-interesting game plan. Auto-encoder not playing cards is not always the most interesting.
It is gutsy, though. Like, I mean, I'll give him that. Like, committing fully to it is gutsy. And it did work. It
worked. So I think seeing that... You don't get to see that very often. I don't get to see it very often. I'm sure people in chat don't get to see it super often. Unless you were on Team Sloppy Labwork. You're probably not seeing that every day. So I think to have that covered, to have that shown here tonight, I thought it was all... I thought it was all good content. And I'm glad that match was captured.
Okay, well, I mean, I appreciate that. I'm not trying to be overly negative on it, just like, I don't know.
Well, you did lose.
Yeah, I did lose.
Yeah, and losing always, especially losing, you lost in the playoffs, it's gonna color perceptions.
Yeah, for sure.
Not much you can do about it.
But, yeah.
And I know you're beating yourself up over not holding the diametric charge, but that diametric charge was a very early play, and I don't think, and it was... You were at 4 amber, 2 keys by the time that Western gun hit the board.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking I could just like produce amber in like any other way, and it's nope. Okay. Like,
yeah, I don't think it's as clear cut as just it was a mistake. I think there was a decision point of do you hold the diametric charge as a chain for 3 or 4 turns.
I had like no logos left in deck when I used it, so I was just like, I'm gonna hold the chain. But I think I could have done that and produced enough to win. So like that's basically
right
where I started to get tilted. Like not tilted is a strong word. Like you can see, like I'm not like emotional about it. It's just like
there was some frustration.
Yeah, it's just kind of like I feel like I didn't have much control other than that, right? So I feel like it was kind of out of my hands, and I had this one thing that I could control, and I didn't.
Right. Yep.
And that's kind of like where the frustration with that mistake goes, which inherently is like interesting. Keyforge is a game where that can happen to you a lot, where it's like a lot is out of your hands, but that one thing that's in your hands is super important.
Yeah, which I think is one of the things that makes it. It can be a frustrating component of the game, but also a very interesting component of the game.
Oh, for sure, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think I definitely never want to play against that deck again.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but I think getting O2'd by Laszlo is basically. I mean that's what you want that deck to be doing, just for you instead of against you, right? Like where
Yeah.
it locks something that it shouldn't be able to lock, and then you get the Mars board out and it starts doing its thing. Like that as a case in point as to why I would bring that kind of thing. It just normally doesn't happen to me.
Yeah, and I mean,
uh,
Lazo has served you quite well in multiple
oh
different
yeah,
formats. Most of them involve are like semi-reversal, but it's has performed you and served you quite well in those formats. So
yeah. No, I mean it definitely is. I don't regret bringing it. I do think the one lesson I take from this format is that I think Laszlo was perfect for Newton. I might want to go something a little higher octane for adaptive best of 3.
interesting.
And the main reason for that is that Laszlo like can produce those 2-0s. And basically I think if you do consider yourself like if you're like, okay, I want the best player to win, and I think I'm the best player, whatever that means, like just kind of thinking abstractly, right?
Yeah, if the goal of the format is, or the goal of the game is, the goal of a match is best player wins.
Right. Then the best player is going to have usually some degree of edge in chain bidding, in terms of like knowing deck knowledge better and stuff. So like, it's not so much that I want to negate games 1 and 2. But like just winning the first game promises you a game 3, and then like maybe you get game 2, right? So
Well,
like when I play Laszlo and I lose game 1, then that turns game 2 into this hyper pressurized thing. Whereas if you win game 1, then it's just like basically I just like won a semi guaranteed win of game 1, or they brought something insane, right? So you like, make it so that you basically always get to a game 3, right? Yeah.
Then it's an arms race of like, where do you cut that off at?
I don't know if you cut it off anywhere, honestly. Like
you just bring like a 90.
Just bring like a double. Yeah, you just bring like yeah, you just bring something insane and just say, okay, fine, like chain bid. And then if they bring something insane as well, then you have a chance to get your 2-0 and you're actually playing a game. But I think actually, like in retrospect, I don't think that this format is as encouraging for mid-level decks as I thought it was. Even though I like performed pretty well with a middling deck, I could kind of tell like I was kind of on my back foot a lot in ways that I kind of perhaps didn't need to be, but I wanted to like ride Laszlo out through the whole event. But I found myself like playing against extremely fast decks, like like 20-something speed, and then they're like spitting out creatures, and I'm just like, why would you bring this? Like I just keep on being like, why would you bring this? Why would you bring this? And the truth is, there's like the structure of the format doesn't incentivize bringing middling decks as much as.
And I think
like you kind of have to have this like gentleman's agreement, sort of that doesn't exist, like.
I think playoffs also are a bit of a different beast in the pod phase.
Yeah.
Because in the pod phase you are incentivized to 2-0.
Fair.
Like that's the first tiebreaker, and there are multiple instances of people getting out of their group specifically because they had more 2-0s.
Right.
And then once you have that, but with that gone, and all you're looking to do is win, I do think I do agree there is an incentivization of just making sure you guarantee yourself as much agency as possible, and that involves winning game 1.
Yeah, no, I think that's right. So yeah, I think maybe I should have shifted to something a little crazier. Hmm.
And
I
like,
don't know.
I don't think it's as clear, quite as clear cut. Algernon,
Hmm.
Algernon won last season with, I think it was a 69.
Yeah. No,
Right.
no. I mean, I'm not saying that's definitive. That's just something I'm chewing on for like what I want to see in the format. Um.
I think for something as something as simple as adaptive, I think there's a lot of complexity and there's a lot of depth to strategization and theorization around it.
Yeah. No, I was basically just like reflecting on my approach for the season, which was to bring this low 70s thing that can knock a really good deck if you let it. Um, but continually losing game one did get frustrating, even when I was like, because it just puts you on this like mental back foot. Um,
Yep.
which mathematically is technically the same, you know, like, but because you always play the games in order of Archon first, you know, I think that matters. So
Yeah, and I was
I
talking to
wonder.
Labwork here in chat saying that adding their uh, 2 cents that too many chains in game 3 can make for high variance. They think
Yeah,
that best of 3 adapter rewards stronger decks, but maybe not top end outliers.
I mean that's about right. However, one of the most effective adaptive decks I've seen is Jason Le Defenseur, which is like a double gen deck owned by Uglick. It's an old Kip deck. And basically, you're very likely to get one of the gens. It has like double Eureka or something like that. You know what I mean? Like it has like
Right.
ways of archiving, and then you're gonna get to the gens, and then the chains don't matter once you hit one of the gens. Um,
Right.
so like basically, if you have a deck that can find ways to ignore chains or doesn't care about chains as much, that can be good. There is a lot of complexity to the format, and I still think it's like very like viable and interesting.
But the problem, like,
But
I think that that statement still stands, though, right? If there's too many chains, and let's say you're on 3 card hands,
mhm.
if you're on 3 card hands and you're trying to dig for the gen while the other person is on full
Oh yeah,
6 card hands, 6+ card hands, then I played a game against now in stereo where that
yeah,
happened, and I mean, it's recorded. I had I was playing Brevet, and my Brobnar
right.
just slaughtered it. Right?
No, no, I mean it's true.
So
It is true. Um, I just mean I'm trying to think of like the best exceptions to that. I don't know. Like you said, there is a lot of complexity. There are a lot of different approaches. I don't think like Laszlo is like this abysmal choice. I'm just more thinking for my purposes that it might be better in a Newton context than it is in adaptive best of 3 context, which is like interesting.
yeah.
Because like it didn't feel in Newton, it felt like it just couldn't lose. Like I was just like winning the Archon in the reversal, like when everybody had to bring mid decks.
Yeah, I think
Um,
Newton is a really, really cool format. I would love to see that be official.
yeah, I think Newton would be a great official.
And we do
But I
have
guess I'll just say, God, I'm sorry.
sorry, no, just Sloppy Labwork linked the adaptive deck, Jason the Defensor, Dorian
Mm-hmm.
Dufour. So that is on screen for those who are interested in seeing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty damn interesting. But yeah, it was more like just reflecting on perhaps I don't know what like an ideal adaptive best of 3 deck is for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think it has a bit more teeth and like yeah, and maybe like multiple answers. It's like one of the really good things about Laszlo in Newton is that it has like everything but only one of each thing, if that makes sense. So it's like it has
Yep.
one board clear, it has one piece of R, it has like one significant piece of disruption, stuff like that, right? It has like one way to do a ton of different things. And
Yep.
if you misuse them, then you lose.
Mm-hmm.
Um, however, in a format where I'm seeing a lot more heat from people, just generally speaking, like I don't think that you would bring even though I don't think Quickdraw's deck was like an Archon deck, I don't think that you bring that to a Newton.
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like you see a little bit more fire. So it's kind of like I should probably like respond in turn, which might be like a meta response, but it also might be like a like logical outcome of the format itself, because you don't get punished as much for going over. If that makes sense.
You do. So I'll bring up your deck and Quickdraw's deck as well.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Ableson of Carrying View here, which is 77. Those are its stats. And then we've got Laszlo of Spike Quarter here, which is a 71. These are its stats. 3.8 speed from Laszlo with a whopping 18 speed coming from Ableson.
Yeah. Yeah, that speed differential was definitely felt. Yeah. You know, it really was. I didn't see the blinding light coming. Sorry, I'm just thinking through the game again. The blinding light was the killer, because, like, it didn't matter that I couldn't move in other houses. I just needed to, like, steal 2 more and reap.
Yep.
And I thought I could do that.
Yeah, and I mean, you should have been able to. Just you got blindsided.
Bamboozled. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah. But I was just, like, thinking through that. I probably don't even think about it if I don't get blinding lighted. Where I'm just like, oh yeah, no, I was just ahead too much, and it was fine to play that card. But
yeah, no, clutch stun sleeper is absolutely right.
Yeah, but it is interesting, and I do think it's a format that's like worth supporting, and I'll definitely be playing the next KAGI and stuff. I just have like some evaluation to do in terms of deck choice. I probably won't be bringing my absolute best, but I probably will be bringing stuff that's like stuff that is a little stronger, but with like tricky, hard to execute combos, or like board formation really matters. Yeah. But a bit more pop in it, I think, basically.
Yeah. No, I mean that sounds good to me. I think yeah. You know, I'm excited to see you back for KAGI 7.0 when we get there.
Nice.
And yeah, I'm excited to see how the rest of these semifinals and how the rest of these quarterfinals game and the rest of the semifinals and finals go.
Yeah, no, for sure.
As usual, for the finals, we will have Zox be streaming them over on the DataForge stream, as per usual for the KAGI League. So make sure if you haven't already, go follow them over there. Make sure to give us a follow here at the Swindle Chronicles. We're going to be having more of these, so stay tuned.
Yep. We're very likely to be on tomorrow night as well.
Yep, should be on around 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, we'll be showcasing the Swindle Tetrad tool in all of its glory. It's still in development, but it works. Like it works, and it is glorious. And we'll have some. We'll have the team event league is coming up with that. So I'm really looking forward to exploring this format in depth now that it has the tool that is needed to really engage in it.
Yes, I am very excited for Swindle Tetrad.
Yeah.
And it looks like, Zoc is live with DataForge right now. So before we leave, we will make sure to raid on the way out.
That's cool. Maybe we'll send him that raid. I think that's the extent of my reflection on this format. I mean, on this game and Flash format.
Sounds good. We'll close it all out. Thank you so much, Karen, for joining me. Hopefully everyone enjoyed the stream. Thank you for the games. Thank you to Quickdraw for being a good sport and for giving us this match. And congratulations to them for winning. And good luck to their match against Ashitaka.
Yeah, good luck.
So thank you all. I'll send you all over to DataForge stream right now. And thank you so much, Dynafot, for letting me know. Have a good night, everyone. We'll see you later. Make sure to stay in chat to actually catch the raid.
Yep.
Do not forget. Peace, everyone.